Okay, see, first house, second house, we have completed. Third house, fourth house, fifth, sixth, till that we completed, right?
Seventh, up to seventh we completed.
Seventh also we completed. One second. You're able to see the screen?
Yes, first house ascendant.
Okay. See, quickly tell me what is seventh house represent?
Kadatra Bhava. Kadatra Bhava, marriage.
Okay, tell me.
In marriage, sir.
Marriage and?
Marriage only.
See,
Partnership.
seventh house represents marriage, legal partnerships, open enemies. Okay. Your Bhavat Bhavam, 10th from 10th. So it represents your career. Okay. It represents your business. If sixth house is strong, you will go for job. If seventh house is strong, you will go for business. It represents your income. It represents fourth from fourth. Important. Bhavat Bhavam.
Fourth from fourth.
See, for example,
Yes.
you have fourth house, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is fourth from fourth. So it also represents your real estate. You understand? Bhavat Bhavam. It will have similar characteristics. It also represents your real estate, 1, 2, 3, 4. It represents your second house, or it represents your house in foreign country. You understand? Seventh house, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth from fourth, Bhavat Bhavam. 10th from 10th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, it represents your wife. The planets situated in this house represents your wife. The lord of this house also represents your wife and quality of marriage. You understand? Okay, for example, if see, for example, in this chart, your chart, Ketu is situated in the seventh house and in the Dhanu. Okay?
Yes.
Now, Dhanu itself is a dharmic sign. Okay? Over that Ketu is there. So, I'm sure your wife must be very spiritual lady. Right? Am I right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay? Again, depends on the aspect. There's exalted sun over here. Okay? Exalted sun is giving ninth aspect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? Even Mars is giving trine, ninth aspect. So, Mars, Ketu, and Sun, this kind of combination will have ego clashes.
Ego classes.
You understand? Let us discuss with Naisargic chart. This is a general chart with Gemini ascendant. Okay, this is the seventh house. Now this represents the seventh house, seventh lord. All the aspects which are falling on the seventh house, all the aspects which are falling on the seventh lord, they combinedly represent the uh, the nature of marriage, the quality of marriage.
Okay.
Okay, na? So, for example, for Gemini ascendants, their seventh house is Dhanu. So, for Gemini ascendant, generally they'll get a dharmic spouse. You understand? By default, if you are a Gemini ascendant or a Gemini Rashi, Sun Moon sign, or a Gemini Sun sign, your spouse will be dharmic person.
Okay.
Because 9 is Dhanu. Okay? Now, for example, if Sun is situated over here, okay, let us simplify it. Let's take each planet. Let's not take multiple planets together. Let's take each planet and then let's check. If Sun is situated over here, the person will be egoistic. Okay? The person can be a government employee. The spouse, I'm talking about the spouse. Your native, this is the native. Okay, this is the wife or husband. If this is a man, this will be the wife. If this is a woman, this will be the husband. Okay, the spouse, if sun is situated, generally the person will be authoritative, bossy. Okay, he will be, um, he or she will be arrogant. Okay, but at the same time they'll be very fatherly. Sun represents father. They take care of the entire house. Okay, if it's a lady, she will be dominating the house. She will take the command of the house. Okay, if the
Okay.
husband is a water sign or a air sign, it's fine. But if the husband is a fire sign, then there will be ego clash, major ego clash. Okay, if it's a water sign, fire sign, or earth sign, still they're okay, manageable. But if it's a fire sign like Aries or Sagittarius or Leo, then husband wife major clash will be there. Again, if this is a water sign and sun is situated in it, the sun's intensity will go down. You understand? If this is a water sign, the
Okay.
sun is, fire is sitting in the water, so it will reduce the heat of the sun to a great extent, and that person will not be that bossy. Okay, generally sun is a malefic for marriage.
Okay.
Sun for business is very good. If the
Okay.
person has sun in the seventh house, he will really do well in the business, unless it is in benefic condition. Okay, not debilitated or in enemy sign. It's in benefic condition, not eighth lord or seventh lord or sixth lord or 12th lord, not trickstan. In a benefic condition, then sun, the person will do excellent in business, but somehow the marriage will suffer. You understand? Do you understand, sir?
Okay, sir.
One more very
Yes, yes,
important
yes, sir.
point. Sun for business, it will be good in the seventh house. Sun for marriage will be bad. One more very important point. The third house from a particular house is the Bhratrusthanam for that particular person. For example, your fifth house is your first child. The third house, 5, 6, 7, is the second child, is the brother, younger brother or sister for the first child. That means your second child. Now, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the ninth house is the third child or younger brother, sister to the
Okay.
second child. So, the seventh house will be your second child, fifth house will be your first child, 11th house will be your third child, ninth house will be your third child, 11th house will be your fourth child, first house will be your fifth child. Okay.
Oh, oh, oh. Okay. Okay.
In previous generation, they used to say that the third child generally resembles the grandfather. You remember? In our past generations, our grandparents used to say the third child generally, Tata Puttadu, they used to say they resemble the third child. They strongly resemble the third child. Why? If this is me, okay? This is my first child, this is my second child, this is my third child, and this is also my father's house. Okay, I am the Lagna, the native, my first child, my second child, my third child. This is the third child. But ninth house is also my father, the native's father. So father's house and the third child's house is coinciding. Generally,
Okay.
there are many more conditions. You have to see the Dwadashamsha, we have to see
Right.
multiple planets. So many things are there. Okay, generally. One more thing I'll tell you. Generally, the first child looks like yourself, second child looks like your wife. Because first child is trine house from your Lagna, second child is the seventh house, is the wife's chart. Again, Saptamsha we should see for deciding that. D7 chart we should see. We cannot directly say, but still, to certain extent, the second child will have traits of the wife or the spouse.
Mm, mm.
Are you understanding? How to check the chart? How to check the now?
Understand, understand.
Now this seventh house is the wife. The third house from seventh house is the sister of the wife. Sister of the wife is generally your second wife, the person's second wife. Very important point. If seventh house is the first wife, the sister of the wife is generally your second wife. Okay, or it could be her biological sister also,
Right.
but ninth house in a particular native's chart represents second wife or the sister of the wife, the biological sister. So if you're looking at the first marriage, look at it from the first seventh house. If you're looking at the second marriage, you look at it from the ninth house. If you're looking at the third marriage, you look at it from the 11th house, one, two, three.
11th house.
And subsequently, like that, you go. The person can have any number of wives.
ఓహో సార్ హిందూ ధర్మం అప్పుడు వేరు కదా.
Sorry?
In Hindu Dharma, there is not like this.
The astrology is beyond dharma, sir. See, the person may.
Okay. Okay.
What is wife? It is a long-term association with a woman to a higher level of physical intimacy. Do you agree? Actually, marriage is
Yes,
not
exactly.
defined by the nature, by the gods. Marriage is only a long-term relationship where you're having progeny also, children also. Is there any rule that you
Yes.
cannot have children without marriage? Is there anything like that? Or is there any rule that if you're married, you'll compulsorily have children? Is
No,
there any rule like that? Nothing, na? You can have
there
children.
is no such type of rule.
So the planets do not discriminate. When you're looking chart for the foreigners, I don't look at it as marriage. I look at it as their first live-in relationship, second live-in relationship, third live-in relationship, and fifth house is more of a flirting and fling and one-night stands.
Uh-huh.
Do you understand? Foreigners, they don't marry. Whites, I'm talking about the whites, they don't marry. Okay,
Right.
generally, most of them, they don't get into institution of marriage. They are even if they marry after 10 years of live-in relationship. So many of my clients, I tell them that your first relationship is this, your second is this, and the nature of your second person in your life would be like this because it's a long-term relation. If you have to see short-term relations, flirtations, one-night stands, I look at it from the fifth house.
Okay.
Okay, so very important point. Seventh house represents your wife, your second child, okay, your business partners, your legal partnerships, your open enemies, your court cases, litigations, court cases generally.
Mm.
Okay, Tula is justice.
Okay.
Tula Rashi. Also, Naisargik chart, the Kalpurush chart, this is Tula. So, this also represents your artistic sense, you know, your cleanliness, your all Venus activities. Seventh, generally, Venus is very
Nice and big
comfortable in
chat.
this house. Okay,
Okay.
now let's look at each planet in the seventh house. Okay, let's look at the Naisargik chart. Okay, fine. Even this is okay. Fine. Okay. Now, supposing. Why is this not going? Okay. Supposing Sun is there in this particular planet, in this particular house.
Mm.
Sun is already there. Okay. Sun is there. Now, like I told you, the person will have ego clashes. The person will have ego clashes. Person's wife will be authoritative. She can be a government employee. There is a chance, or if she is employed in private, she can be in a very top position. Wherever she is there, he or she will try to head that organization, or they will be simply head of the house. If it's a husband's chart, the wife will control the house. If it's a wife's chart, the husband will be in total control of the house. Very simple.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, second point. If Sun is there is full chance of having, if the Jupiter is weak and if other conditions are weak, there's full chance that the second child may have complications in delivery. There could be miscarriage and abortion
Oh.
also. Not abortion, miscarriage. If Mars Ketu aspect is there, then the person can have a cesarean. Okay. Full chance. When sun is there, it's a barren. Sun is a barren planet. Sun is not at all good for romance, not at all good for progeny. It is good for career. The same planet acts in different way in different departments, in different domains.
Okay.
Okay. Now, sun in the seventh house, there is full chance that second child there will be a problem. Okay. Of course, if the seventh lord is weak, if the seventh house is aspected by malefics, if the degrees of the seventh lord is very less, all the conditions being met. But whatever may be, even if it's a strong seventh house, seventh lord, when sun is there, there will be some kind of complications in delivery, because sun has huge mass. It has something like 13,000 times the mass of earth. 13,000 earths will fit into one sun. 13,000 or 14,000, just imagine. Do you understand?
Yes. Okay. Okay.
So when that kind of mass is kept over here, it will. And also, when you're talking about body parts, seventh house represents your genital organs. For the gents, it is the penis, and for the ladies, it is the vagina. And when sun is there, there will be some kind of health issues over there, some kind of burns, some kind of heat, because sun is tremendous amount of heat. Some kind of issues will be there, not very congenial. Okay. If moon is there, and also seventh house shows your potency. For men, if bad planets are there in seventh and house, eighth house, the person becomes impotent. He will not be able to perform sexually.
Oh,
Seventh and eighth house, because eighth house is the testicles and seventh house is the penis. Very, very important. Because after getting married, when sexual activity is not there, okay, that will be one of the main reasons for divorce. When you're matching a chart, you have to see
yes.
that particular thing first. The person is important, and you're saying, okay, go ahead and get married, and after that, the person will catch your collar. He will say, what kind of matching have you done? What kind of person have you suggested? Okay, seventh house is the house of potency. Venus takes care of the sperm count in males. Okay, and the seventh house. If the seventh house is weak, then the particular person will have erectile dysfunction, or sperm count will be their problem, and the person they will not be able to produce children. Okay. Now moon is there. Moon is again fluctuating. Okay, moon generally is good for romance. Okay, moon in good dignity will give very good romantic life, very good sexual life. But if moon is in bad dignity, then the person will have sexual life. The quality of sexual life is determined by the seventh house. Okay, if moon is in bad
Okay.
dignity, then the person will have fluctuating sexual life. Means the sexual life sometimes will be very good, sometimes will be very bad. And also, the performance of the male will be for a very short time.
Okay.
Do you understand? Because moon is completes one revolution around the earth in the shortest period of time out of all the planets, and it is the fastest moving planet. Its speed is extremely high.
Magnitude.
I'm sorry.
Magnitude, sir.
Exactly. You're right. So when moon in bad dignity is there in the seventh house, the person's performance time, the male's performance time is very less. And if it is in wife's chart in the seventh house, then that lady will be extremely moody. Sometimes she will be willing for sex. Sometimes she'll not at all be willing for sex, and again her interest will be very limited, limited time in the bed. Okay. Moon again in bad dignity in seventh house will create problems, health issues. Moon itself represents womanhood, breasts. So seventh house in a bad dignity will create uh, problems with ovaries and vagina and these kind of complications when moon is in bad dignity. Okay, when you have Mars over
Okay.
here. Okay, one more thing. Bad planet situated in seventh and eighth house, the person will have perverted sexual interests. You have to look at the 7th and 8th house and you'll understand the person's personal life. Debilitated planets, planets in enemy houses, niche planets, niche and debilitated mean the same. These kind of planets, Rahu, Ketu, okay? Ketu not so much, but Rahu and Saturn, Moon in bad dignity, will give secretive affairs in 7th house.
Okay.
Very, very simple. 100% he will have it. You will tell the client, he will not agree to you. But he would have either had it in the past, before marriage, or he's still having it. He may have extramarital affairs, he may go for prostitutes, he may go for even perverted sex with the spouse, also comes from 7th and 8th house. Okay? So having a very bad Mars over here, Mars is generally good in the 7th and 8th house. 8th house it is Swarashi, its own Rashi in the Kalpurush Kundli. So extremely well it performs. These people are extremely good in bed. The men are extremely good when the Mars is situated in 7th or 8th house. Again, it creates Mangal dosha. I'll tell you what is Mangal dosha. Because they will have so much of sexual activity, 7th and 8th house Mangal people, that they'll be termed as Manglik. Okay, according to South Indian system, 2nd, 4th, 7th, 8th, and 10th house Mars generally are called Manglik. According to North Indian, 2nd house is not there. 4th, 7th, 8th, and 12th house are termed as Manglik. Okay, South India, we consider even 2nd house per people as Manglik. Okay, we give them Mangal Dosh. Mangal Dosh is nothing but high amount of Martian energy. That means they fight also like animals and they have sex in a very tremendous, in a very aggressive way. The sexual urge is so huge. So you compulsorily have to match the spouse also having Mangal Dosh or Mangal condition of that particular Mangal. You cannot call it Dosh because see, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 12 houses, almost 40% of the entire population are having this Mangal Dosh. So you cannot actually call it Dosh, it's a condition. You have to match with that particular spouse having the similar combination. Otherwise, the spouse will not be able to accompany the person in bed because the person will have say 5 episodes of sexual activity in one night and this person will be tired by after one episode. Are you understanding? So much in detail Vedic astrology gives you the details. The things which the person will not tell you or even to his parents or his wife, you will understand it. You understand? Are you following? So
Yes, yes, sir.
Mangal in 7th house in good dignity gives fantastic sexual life. Mangal in bad dignity will give very violent sexual behavior. Okay? And also the spouse herself, when Mangal is sitting over here in bad dignity, the person herself will be very quarrelsome. She'll be fighting with you all the time, very argumentative. Okay? Mangal is first you commit this act, then you think. Jupiter is first you think with wisdom and then you commit the act. Okay, Mangal and Ketu more or less behaves the same way. People who are Mangliks, people who are Mangal Rashi, Mangal uh, Lagna, these people commit the act, then they think later. They may repent it, they may not repent it. Okay, so first thing is when the Mangal is there in 7th and 8th house, compulsorily you have to match the spouse's chart also with 7th, 8th house Mangal or 12th house Mangal, or the Mangal should be strong. They need not be in the same position. It can be Vargotama Mangal or exalted Mangal, then they will be able to match them in the bed. Otherwise, they'll not be able to match them, and this will be one of the reasons they'll get divorced. As an astrologer, you can see this, but they cannot see this. Okay, 7th house Mangal in a bad way, these people become rapists also, sexual perverts, murderers. Mangal is one of the most dangerous planet in astrology. Because Mangal is so high intensity, Mangal is the weapon. Any sharp object is Mangal. It can convert a simple kitchen apparatus into a murder weapon. That is Mangal. Within a split second, you don't even realize what has happened and the act has been done. You have murdered another person. And you are now into the courts and jails for next 20 years. That is Mangal. It will not give you time to think. Accident. Within split second, the vehicle comes from the other side or you hit the vehicle. Within split second, you don't know what has happened and you're down on the ground bleeding. Mangal always loved to see the blood. That is the reason people with 9, 18, 27, these people born on these dates, they will always have blood coming out of their body, either by hurt or nose bleeding or high BP. The blood is so powerful for them with high pressure. You understand?
Sir.
Okay. So, bad planets in bad dignity, the person will have very bad sexual habits that could lead to crime also. So, suppose you are matching a chart for a lady and the, the boy's chart has very bad planets in the 7th and 8th house, you have to be very careful because he was going to be sexually abusive, perverted sex, he may have extramarital affairs, he will make the life of this woman miserable and he may turn out to be criminal also because when in lust, planets like Rahu and Mars and even Ketu to certain extent, they don't have the ability to think. They do the crime and then they repent, but by then crime is committed and you are in jail and courts and all kinds of litigations. Bad Mangal here also represents very bad enemies you will have because you will do that kind of acts, you will develop that kind of enemies. Very simple. Sixth house represents your court case litigation, Rogrun Shatru. Seventh house, your open enemies. So, obviously, having bad Mangal in sixth and seventh house will give you very bad enemies. Gundas, basically Gundas. Antisocial elements, unsocial elements. Okay. Then you have your Mercury. Mercury is a unique planet. Mercury, Ketu, and Saturn. When Mercury, Ketu, and Saturn are sitting in bad dignity, they give impotency. The person will not be able to perform. Mercury is nerves. When the nerve problem is there, then it will compulsorily lead to impotency in men. But they have to be in bad dignity, not exalted or in good sign. You understand?
Okay.
Okay, it's clear till here? Okay.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes.
Then you have Jupiter. Jupiter is the biggest planet after Sun. If you're considering sun as a star, then biggest planet in the solar system is Jupiter. So these people have huge sexual urge. Their sexual urge is too much, and that too, if it's a Sagittarius, not only Jupiter positioned over here, it's a Sagittarius or it's a Pisces over here. The person will have huge sexual urge, will be tremendous. Okay, I'm not saying this person will have many extramarital affairs. I'm not saying that. He may be extremely sexually active with his own wife. But again, Jupiter doesn't give that kind of performance which Mars gives in the bed. Mars in good dignity gives you fantastic performance in bed. Jupiter is okay, but it always wants more and more. Jupiter in bad dignity or with Rahu aspecting Jupiter, the person generally tends to go for extramarital. But again, Jupiter is wisdom. So at one point in their life, they turn back and they renounce all these things. Generally, it happens with Jupiter people. When Jupiter is strong, at one point of time, they will have self realization and they leave all the vices. But generally, Jupiter people get into vices. Either it be drinking or it be sex. You observe it. Most of the astrologers and purohits, they would have lived a very flashy life before their marriage and in their teenage and youth. You check that.
Ah,
For example, Valmiki was a dacoit. That person turned into a Rishi. Like that, you will see a lot of Brahmins, lot of Pandits and Purohits.
after marriage.
They will be one point, but definitely they will turn around. Jupiter gives you, see, if Jupiter is there, you can get out of addictions. If Jupiter is there, you can get out of you can recover back. You can turn back. If Jupiter is weak, that person can never turn back. That is the reason if 3 is there in the date of birth, however bad you may have the other combinations numbers, the person will recover back. Because Jupiter is divine help, they will turn back. But definitely they are going to indulge because the urge is so much. See, how are these Pandits and Purohits are shown with a big belly, right? Generally, Panditji and
Yes.
all, how they are shown in cartoons and all, they'll have a pilaka, they'll have a pony, small pony, and they will have big belly, right?
Uh-huh.
Why like that? Because Jupiter is fat. Who gets into astrology and this Porohityam and all, Panditjis and all, people who have very good Jupiter, only they get into it. All the religious thing, religion is Jupiter.
Okay.
So definitely they'll have a big paunch and a
Yes.
lot of fat because Jupiter is there's too much of Jupiter energy. Jupiter gives you cholesterol. Jupiter gives you fat, bad liver. They eat lot of sweets. Jupiter and Venus people eat lot of sweets. They will have diabetes.
Yes.
Okay, so Jupiter when it is there, generally the person indulges definitely because the urge is too much. Even Mercury indulges. Mercury is also a playboy. Okay, but Mercury's performance is not so great. He will be flirting, but matter undadu.
Hmm.
Real performance will not be there.
Okay.
You understand? He'll have 10 girlfriends. But Mars is, you know, in the bed, he's the king. Women will be crazy for the Martian
Kichanga.
person. They'll be craving for him because he will show heaven to them. He'll be like a horse in the bed. Same is the case with women. A woman with high Martian energy, she will show heaven. But again, a bad dignity, they'll have multiple affairs because they'll get so
Well,
much of energy.
hmm.
See, polarity. In polarity, Venus and Mars are the positive and negative poles. Venus and Mars together, compulsory love affairs right from beginning, all of them will be physical in nature, not Ishkwala love. Physical in nature, Venus Mars conjunction,
Okay.
Venus Mars aspect. Remember, wherever they may occur, 7th house, 8th house, 1st house, 2nd house, 3rd house, wherever it is, Venus and Mars together, that person will have affairs right from the age of 12. Tremendous amount of attraction from the opposite sex. Because in the Kalpurush Kundli, 1 is the Mars, 7 is the Venus, husband and wife. Though they are staunch enemies, Venus and Mars, they're very bad enemies. But they'll have tremendous sexual attraction towards each other. Okay? Now, Saturn there. Saturn again gives perversion. But again, no matter. Wherever Saturn sits in that particular body, it gives
మీ
deformity.
వాయిస్ కట్ అయింది సార్.
When Saturn is
వాయిస్
sitting
కట్
in
అయింది ఇప్పుడు.
7th or 8th house, it gives dysfunctionality of that particular organ.
ఓకే.
Okay, wherever it may sit. If it's sitting in the first house, then your mind will be dull, in bad dignity. If it is in the third house, then your arms will be thin or you'll have problem, handicap problem. Okay, if it is in the fifth house, then heart will be weak. Seventh house, no matter, erectile dysfunction. Eighth house, similar problems. Okay, in very bad dignity, perverted sex, sexual crimes, prostitution. Because eighth house is profession, seventh house is sex, eighth house is sex. So profession, sex being the profession, prostitution. You understand? Venus in seventh, eighth house, prostitution, pornography. Bad dignity, of course, not in good dignity. Very good dignity, it will give you good results. Enemy house,
గుడ్
debilitation.
డిగ్నిటీ మీన్స్.
I'll tell you that after this, I'll tell you. See, if it is exalted, good dignity.
ఓకే.
If it is debilitated, bad dignity.
ఓకే.
Okay, for example,
ఓకే.
Rahu gets exalted in Taurus, it gets debilitated in Scorpio. Scorpio Rahu is there, and Scorpio is the eighth house. Then, believe me, the person will have so many issues in life. Rahu in eighth house, prostitution, the two cheap prostitutes. If it's a lady, then she herself will become a prostitute. 2 minutes you can tell the secrets which they themselves will never reveal even to their parents or spouses. Nobody. You will tell those secrets, and that person will be zapped. Okay. We'll close for now, sir. Tomorrow we'll again కంటిన్యూ అట్ 4 o'clock. ఓకేనా?
సార్ అయితే అయిపోయిందా అప్పుడే?